Rob was part of each audition, and he was living with her and soon to marry her, and he would obviously do better with her wanting her to get the job. I mean, was I really the funniest one in the room when we were doing the improvs for all the suits?
After Rob Reiner and his wife passed away, Hollywood couldn't stay quiet. Tributes poured in, social media blew up with condolences, and courtroom whispers tried to piece together what really went down. But one person didn't need to guess. Sally Struthers already knew. She wasn't just Rob's former co-star. She was his confidant, the one he trusted when cameras stopped rolling on. That's exactly why she decided to step up and shut down the rumors flying online. What she exposed sent chills through everyone, and shockingly, it matched what Tom Cruise has been quietly confirming behind closed doors. Sally never planned to talk publicly. No publicist, no prepared notes, just raw emotion. When a reporter asked how she was holding up, she froze and whispered, "You don't know what he was living through." Then, with tears in her eyes, she said, "We failed him." That one sentence shattered everything people thought they knew. Her connection with Rob ran deep, over 50 years of friendship. They talked several times a week, sometimes way past midnight. But in his final months, their calls turned strange. Rob would call her after midnight, stay silent, and then hang up. When she finally asked what was wrong, he said sharply, "I can't talk long." He listens. Then, click. The call ended. That one phrase haunted her ever since. Just 3 weeks before his death, Sally met Rob for lunch in Santa Monica. She remembered him getting there early, choosing a corner seat and refusing to have his back facing the room. When his phone buzzed, he flinched so hard he spilled his water. Trying to lighten the mood, Sally half joked, "Who's got you this scared?" Rob leaned in close and whispered, "If I say it out loud, it becomes real." Then he added, "Promise me, if something happens, you'll tell the truth." That promise would later tear her apart, because what she revealed next turned the whole story upside down. Sally explained that it wasn't Rob who changed first. It was the house. The Brentwood home that once buzzed with friends, political debates, and unannounced visitors had gone eerily quiet. Suddenly, Rob didn't want people dropping by anymore. He demanded advance notice from everyone, even old friends. When Sally pressed him for a reason, he said sharply, "I need to know who's coming. I need time." It didn't sound like hosting anymore. It sounded like hiding. The whole place felt tense, almost trapped. Sally said that one afternoon she walked in and noticed every single blind was drawn, even though the sun was blazing outside. When she reached to open one, Rob grabbed her wrist and whispered, "Please don't." In the kitchen, Michelle barely spoke above a whisper, like the walls could hear them. Things got darker when Sally overheard shouting from upstairs. Nick, their son, was furious, demanding money and accusing his parents of cutting him off. Rob's voice was calm but desperate. "Lower your voice." Nick shouted back, "Or what? You'll call the cops on your own son?" The tension in that house was unbearable. And then came the final sign that something wasn't right. Rob showed up at a charity event wearing a long-sleeved shirt in the middle of August. People thought it was just his style, but Sally noticed his hands shaking, his eyes scanning the crowd. Whatever was haunting him wasn't just in his head, it was closing in. When someone at the meeting joked about the brutal heat, Rob forced a weak smile and muttered, "Doctor's orders." Everyone laughed, but Sally noticed his hands trembling. A few days later, she spotted dark bruises just below his wristwatch. When she asked what happened, Rob blurted out, "Stairs. I'm clumsy now. Way too fast. Eyes darting away." His voice shook, and that's when Sally knew something was seriously wrong. Later, Michelle quietly confessed to Sally that she had started locking her bedroom door every night. "I hate that sound," she whispered. The footsteps in the hallway. The Reiner home, once a symbol of Hollywood success, had turned into a prison of fear. The gates that once kept the paparazzi out now felt like they were trapping something sinister inside. Then came the twist that turned everything upside down. According to Sally, Tom Cruise had gone to the Reiner home last November under the pretense of discussing a new project. But what he walked into wasn't business. It was chaos. Raised voices echoed down the hallway. Michelle was crying, and Nick was pacing back and forth, furious, demanding access to money that had been locked away. Cruise reportedly stepped between them to calm things down, but Nick snapped. He lunged forward, shouting, "You don't get to control me anymore." The whole room froze in silence. Cruise later told a close friend that Nick's eyes looked empty, like the light was gone. "No hesitation, no shame," he said. The tension in that house wasn't just emotional. It was dangerous. That same afternoon, Cruise pulled Rob aside into the backyard, away from the walls that felt like they were listening. His tone was firm, almost pleading. "You're in danger here," he warned. "This isn't manageable anymore. You need distance, tonight, if possible." Rob's face went pale. He shook his head and whispered, "He's sick. If I turn my back now, I lose him forever." That moment broke Cruise's heart. Trying to help, he offered a solution few could refuse: a top-tier rehabilitation center overseas, fully private, fully secure. "I'll handle everything," Cruise insisted. "Just let me." But Rob, still torn between love and fear, refused. "If I force him," he said softly, "he'll never forgive me." When Sally heard that, she said it shattered her completely. Rob still believed forgiveness could heal what fear had already destroyed. In the weeks that followed, Cruise kept reaching out, texting Rob with growing urgency. Each message sounded more desperate than the last. He knew time was running out, and whatever was haunting Rob's house wasn't slowing down. The messages grew desperate. "Please take this seriously," one text read. But Rob's replies kept shrinking. "We are managing. It's calmer now." Each message sounded like a man trying to convince himself everything was fine. Each word a small piece of hope bargaining with reality. On that final night, the pattern didn't change. Rob didn't call the police. Instead, he reached out to a private security firm, calmly requesting someone to help de-escalate things. According to call logs, he downplayed the situation, never said he was scared, never hinted that anyone's life was in danger. Sally believes that choice sealed his fate. Her voice cracked when she said, "He was trying to protect his son from consequences." When Tom Cruise got the news of the deaths, he reportedly went silent, completely shattered. To his close friends, he only said one line that still haunts everyone involved: "I warned him, and he chose love." That single sentence now stands as the point where everything could have changed, but didn't. And yet, Sally's final revelation was the one that tore through Hollywood's polished image. She said the danger wasn't invisible because no one noticed. It was invisible because too many people refused to see it. "It wasn't hidden in the shadows," she explained. "It was hidden in plain sight, behind silence." Agents had seen Rob's sudden meeting cancellations. Lawyers had quietly flagged strange financial activity. Doctors treated injuries that didn't add up, but never asked questions. Every ignored red flag built on the next, until the whole truth became untouchable. "People knew something was off," Sally said sharply. "They just didn't want to be the one to say it out loud." She remembered a phone call from a longtime industry executive who begged her to stay quiet. "This will destroy everything people believe about him," the voice warned. Sally didn't hold back. "He was being destroyed while you protected an image," she fired back. Another friend tried to spin it differently, suggesting the public be told it was a family tragedy instead of violence. But Sally refused. Tragedy doesn't leave fingerprints, she said. Violence does. Her words hit like a hammer because the evidence backed her up. Investigators later uncovered disturbing patterns, repeated emergency room visits labeled as accidents, sudden payments to mysterious intermediaries, and long email threads begging for patience instead of action. Then came one of Sally's most heartbreaking admissions. Rob had once confided in her after speaking to his legal team. "They told me to document everything," he said bitterly. "I told them, I don't want a case. I want my son back." That one choice, to protect instead of expose, closed doors that might have saved his life. And Michelle's role finally came into focus. She wasn't a bystander. She was exhausted, worn down, and running out of hope. Sally revealed that Michelle once asked a therapist a chilling question. Could parents be legally protected from their own adult children? The therapist's response was cautious, slow, full of procedure and delay. Michelle's reply still echoes in Sally's memory. "By the time the system moves, we'll already be gone." That sentence, Sally said, is the one she can't forget, the one that still keeps her up at night. The most chilling truth came after the deaths. When investigators pieced together the timeline, they discovered a disturbing pattern. Violence, followed by apology, followed by calm, and then the slow build-up again. It wasn't random. It was methodical. Sally insisted this wasn't impulsive. He knew when to be calm. He knew when to wait. Police reportedly uncovered messages that showed deliberate timing. Arguments started when the house was quiet, when no one was around, when outside help couldn't step in. And here's where it hit even deeper. Hollywood's silence was part of the problem. The industry refused to call it what it was. Instead, they whispered about mental health struggles and family breakdowns, using polished language to hide the violence underneath. But Sally shut that down immediately. "If Rob were a woman," she said firmly, "no one would hesitate to call this what it was." Her words hit hard because they exposed a truth no one in power wanted to face. Power, wealth, fame, none of it protects someone from abuse, and none of it excuses the silence that lets it happen. When Sally finally spoke out, she didn't destroy Rob Reiner's legacy. She clarified it. His final act wasn't weakness. It was love stretched to its breaking point. Rob wasn't thinking like a director or a Hollywood icon. He was thinking like a father who believed patience could still fix everything. That heartbreaking faith cost him everything. Hollywood might still struggle to accept that truth, but Sally made sure it can never be buried again. Rob Reiner didn't die a symbol. He died a human being, caught in a tragedy too real for headlines to twist. Sally Struthers shattered the silence even if it came too late to save him. What's left now isn't a legend or a scandal. It's a truth that forces everyone to look harder at the lives they think they understand. And as the investigation continues, one question still hangs heavy in the air. How many warnings does love ignore before it turns deadly? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe for more shocking updates. This story isn't just Hollywood gossip. It's a wake-up call that no one saw coming.